Facebook and Instagram. Share the live. Iowa George on Instagram. Share the live. Iowa TV and Street TV on YouTube. Share the live. The Street 919 FM.
News from the Street, 919fm.com. Here's what's happening.
Good afternoon, I'm Chanaka Phipps and this is the news on the Street 919 FM. In the headlines, calls for central bank to be investigated. Dengue deaths are now 16. Repairs has started in GMPA complex. Triple murder in PT Valley. Deadline approaches. Regionally, Bahamas signs deal. Internationally, over 41,000 Palestinians killed in strip so far. On top of the news, speaking at the UNC's cottage meeting in Chaguanas on Monday, Prasad Visesa said she was informed the report was laid but was not circulated to members of the UNC up to 3 p.m. when they left Parliament. The report noted that to date, there has been no internal audit into the understatement of revenue for the financial year 2023 by the Ministry of Finance. It said the Finance Ministry had said the errors leading to the understatement of $2.6 billion in revenue were caused by errors in the central bank's electronic check clearing system. Prasad Visesa says the report stated $3 billion was still missing. $3 billion is still missing. Where has the money gone? The central bank refused access to Auditor General. Has the central bank been complicit in cooking the books with the government? What else in the central bank and the government hiding? She noted the matter was still sub judice. The opposition leader further stated the over 60 bills laid in Parliament on Monday had nothing to do with citizens' lives. She criticized the government for bringing bills which had been laid in Parliament 4 years ago and more. In further news, on September 9th, it was reported the Ministry of Health also recorded a number of laboratory-confirmed dengue cases still stands at 1,315. The public was reminded that dengue is spread through the bite of an infected Aedes aegypti mosquito. Symptoms appear within 5 to 6 days of being bitten and can last between 1 to 2 weeks. The symptoms include fever, headaches, pain behind the eyes, muscle and joint pain, skin rash, nausea, vomiting, and diarrhea. Dengue fever may be spread by the bite of an infected Aedes aegypti mosquito. Symptoms appear within 5 to 6 days of being bitten and last up to 2 weeks. In more news, Tuesday the company shared photos on social media of work which is being undertaken by contractor Mosai Development Construction Limited. The works includes the refurbishment of all stands, indoor booths, media booths, offices, washrooms, and auxiliary buildings. Giving more details on what will be fixed, the release said structural steel will be repaired, power washed, and painted. Roof will be refurbished, replacement of washroom, plumbing fixtures, replacement of electrical fixtures, and remedial works to cabling and wiring, installation of fire detection alarm systems, installation of security systems, installation of public address systems, and upgrade of escalators. More information as the story updates. In more stories, around 9:36 p.m. near Light Pole 81 near Pioneer Drive, neighbors were jolted awake by the sound of multiple gunshots. The victims were identified as Selena Rodriguez, Marlon Lee, and Malik Lee were killed in a violent attack. They were discovered, Rodriguez, who was still clinging to life, discovered inside the house as on a bed, calling for help. She was taken to the St. James Infirmary. She was, however, pronounced dead on arrival. Marlon Lee was found lying in a doorway between the bedroom and the living room, while Malik was discovered outside in the yard. Both victims were fatal gunshot wounds. The motive behind the killings remains a mystery, and no suspects have been identified. Meanwhile, in news, a notice has stated on the Ministry of Finance page stating a notice has been stated on the Ministry of Finance page saying they wish to advise the public of approaching property tax payment deadline. All payments must be remitted to the nearest Inland Revenue Office on or before September 30th, 2024. While some people say the process of paying the property tax was smooth and the cost reasonable, others are hoping for an extension as they complained of confusion over inquiries. No one was lined up outside the building, but some people, fewer than 10, were being ushered through security checks to go to the respective departments. Some made statements and said, to pay it is easy, but if you are making a query, it is disorganized, said one elderly woman from Maraval who did not want to be named. She said she was querying her evaluation, which was more than $2,000. One woman from Diego Martin said she had not gotten her evaluation form as yet. A Venezuelan who went to pay on behalf of two other people said she had heard about the confusion over the radio. She had an issue with getting information on the value of the property. Finance Minister Coleman Burton announced plans in 2021 to begin collecting the tax next year, noting that the last valuation of properties was in 1948. He said property owners had been paying far less than the appropriate amount. The property tax is calculated at 2% of the annual rental value of the property, amended from 3% on March 15th. The valuation is based on the classification on land, whether agricultural, residential, commercial, or industrial, the classification of the building, the dimensions, and modifications. And regionally, Prime Minister Philip Davis says his government seeks to establish Grand Bahama as a regional and transatlantic hub after signing a $665 million agreement with the Grand Bahama shipyard for a redevelopment and expansion project. Prime Minister Davis said the signing is critical to the island, adding this is an investment that will repair crucial infrastructure, catalyze the island's economy, and reaffirm the very special island's prominent role in the maritime industry. Davis, who held a government delegation to signing, said the intention to develop the shipyard into one of the top shipping operations in the world. Prime Minister Davis said that once the work on the shipyard is complete, the government anticipates providing a total economic output of $350 million, and that the expansion of the Grand Bahama shipyard is part of a surge of investment for Grand Bahama. And internationally, Gaza's health ministry says 32 Palestinians were killed and 100 wounded in the latest 24-hour reporting period. Israel has struck a tented encampment near Khan Yunis, with Gaza's health ministry saying 19 bodies were recovered. More people are feared dead, as health officials say rescue workers are unable to reach many victims. Israel's military says it targeted a Hamas command center at the Palestinian group, dubbed the claim a clear lie. At least 41,020 people have been killed and 94,925 people injured in Israel's war on Gaza. In Israel, the number of those killed on the Hamas-led attacks. And now let's take a look at your sport and your weather report. In sports, former Trinidad and Tobago international Dwight York has been awarded $290,000 after he was fired by MacArthur FC after 13 games charge he had held as a head coach. On Friday, the Court of Arbitration for Sport upheld the FIFA's player status chamber decision that the club should pay York $212,000. It ruled that the club had breached the parties' contract and ended the former Manchester United star's employment without just case. York is set to get $290,000 in total after interest. The illegal club sacked York in January 2023 after he labeled the team as a pub team after a 1-0 loss to Adelaide United. His remarks, which were witnessed by MacArthur club executives, were reported in the media at the time. After York sued the club, MacArthur FC officials contended that the club's reputation was affected by the media coverage in the event. And now let's take a look at your weather report. For the period this afternoon and tonight, Trinidad, Tobago and the southern windwards partly cloudy with period showers will be interrupted with fair conditions. There is a medium chance of the isolated heavy shower or thunderstorm activity mainly along western and heavy hilly areas during the afternoon. Fairly to partly cloudy nights will be few isolated showers. Gusty winds and street flash flooding can occur in the event of heavy showers or thunderstorms. In the remainder of the Lesser Antilles, partly cloudy conditions with occasional showers and the chance of isolated thunderstorms. Our temperature last night, we had a minimum temperature of 23.8 degrees in Trinidad and 24.9 degrees in Tobago. Our maximum temperature is 33 degrees in Trinidad and 32 in Tobago. Our seas are slight to moderate with waves up to 1.5 in open waters and below 1 meter in sheltered areas. Recapping the headlines, calls for central bank to be investigated. Dengue deaths are now 16. Repairs have started in Jean Pier. Triple murder in PT Valley. Deadline approaches. Regionally, Bahamas signs a deal. And internationally, over 41,000 Palestinians killed in a strip so far. And that's all for today. Thank you for joining me. I'm Chanaka Phipps. Do have a blessed day.
News from the street. News from the street. 919fm.com.